So, CBF, what about Yubel at the end of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX?
Oh my god.
That's a whole story.
I like GX, but Yubel is a whole can of worms, and I also just hate the ending of Season 3. I like Season 3, I like Season 4, I like the first half of Season 1, and the end of Season 1. I don't like Seasons 2 and the end of Season 3.
Yeah, I still can't believe that superhero cards come from space.
Indeed.
Oh my god!
Is that?
Oh.
It's Roger Smith 2004! Not to be confused with Roger Smith 2006 or Paradigm's Top Negotiator.
Oh my god.
Oh, hello.
Also, did anyone just see a TIE Fighter and a Millennium Falcon duking it out over there?
That is not important right now. Roger, have you come to save us, my friend?
I mean, I think that's why I've been summoned here, right?
Was it summoned? Oh, yeah, from our SOS distress signal that hasn't been working all week, when no one's responded.
I mean, yeah, it had to work at some point.
Unless, hypothetically, you were actually the one that summoned us here.
I feel that's far-fetched.
That can't be correct. I almost never send messages. It's always everybody else that does the initiating.
I feel that.
That is surprisingly accurate.
Yeah.
Unless you are the Machiavellian schemer that brought us all here to the Suyokaze from irresponsible Captain Tyler and recreated our set almost perfectly, but with a few tiny indiscrepancies, such as replacing my Joker Gaia memory with a Gear phone.
Lone Crit, I feel like you're making a whole lot of assumptions here.
Well, look, it's either that or Shocker did it, okay?
We agreed that Shocker did it!
Then you know what I'm gonna answer.
Shocker always did it.
What about the Galgun plot, though?
Okay, except the times Golgum did it. Or the Crisis Empire did it. Or Black Satan did it.
Black Satan? What?
Or the Badan Empire did it.
Or the Orphanox did it.
No, I'm only referencing Showa period villain groups now.
Ah, well, you know what I say to that?
What?
Open your eyes for the next Fies.
I love you and hate you at the same time.
And that's our relationship in a nutshell.
But anyway, no, wait a sec. I posit this. Our SOS signal has not been working, and yet Roger, you were able to both locate us exactly and had the means to come to us. I put it here. I think you are the one that has trapped us here. I think you are the sinister, malicious, malevolent, sinister, Machiavellian schemer.
You're the reason I exploded, you fuck!
I got ran over during this whole thing.
You're the one who put the transporter in me!
You're the reason I haven't been able to get an erection since 2015!
Well, that is true. 2015 was when we started talking. Maybe you're onto something.
You're the reason that my fucking eagle broke!
Oh,
well, technically
shit.
it didn't broke, I had to put it back together. Oh my god, this goes so far deep. I bet you're the reason that Kaiser got run over that one time and became a superior robot.
I mean, not that I'm not thankful for it, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I bet Kaiser totally wasn't just texting on his phone while walking.
And I bet you're the one who graffitied my purple Haro!
Actually, I did that.
Actually, no, you couldn't have. I was here before you guys showed up and I activated right as you guys came here. Interesting how I was programmed to activate right as you guys came here, now that you guys think about it.
Yeah, I just really wanted to take credit for that, dude, not gonna lie. It looks really cool, and now you're just a Pride bot. I mean, you're as good as a Pride bot.
I am the Locus bot.
Yeah, Pride bot, what'd I say?
Actually, Roger, you're the reason I have shit selections here. Come on, I couldn't even have a red Haro? Damn.
We'll give you all the harrows you want in future, buddy. Coming soon, on a podcast near you.
Yeah, to be fair, Tyler probably is just trying to collect all these different ones.
But regardless, what have you come here to do to us today? Has our usefulness expired? Have we been of enough entertainment value? Are we no longer to be?
I mean, I think the entertainment value would depend on the individual, wouldn't it?
Are you here just to pick up Aki?
Maybe leave that for later.
There's too many questions.
Then what do you think of us individually, Roger?
Exactly, which is why I should leave, and CBF and Kaiser should be the ones to bite the bullet.
No.
To meet their maker.
That is
to push up daisies.
That is highly debatable.
To sleep with the fishes.
Now, Lone Prick.
To expire. To be no more. To be deceased.
You're a human.
Exactly, which is why I'm better.
Allegedly.
No, that's why you're inferior and you must die. And I'm also, you're the only one who is actively, you and Kaiser both have engaged in murder. I should be the one to live, just so they can die.
I have not engaged in murder. That only works if the person actually dies.
How do you explain why I'm in the Locus bot and not in the 00 bot?
And you didn't die, did you?
Okay, look. Leave the law of equivalent exchange bullshit for later, because we all know from the ending of Brotherhood that that's BS anyway. I just have one final question. Roger, we talked about the spiral of the bonds of trust, or bonds beyond
Are you going
trust.
to say bonds beyond
No, bonds
time?
beyond reason.
Yes, let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Bon-
5Ds, the movie.
Yeah. The best Yu-Gi-Oh movie.
Come on, all we have to know is that Malefics kick ass.
And that Judai kicks ass.
Yes.
Judai is the best protagonist.
That is factually wrong.
Look, it was just a really cool crossover, okay? I really loved seeing the characters play off each other.
The duel sucked, though.
That was the one good part about it. It's otherwise kind of whatever.
Malefic dragons are awesome, especially Malefic Truth the Dragon. But my question is, we talked before at some point in the distant past about the manga Spiral, the Bonds Beyond Reason. Tell me, when and how exactly, as you implied it does it Record of a Fallen Vampire Chapter 3 or 4 or something?
I mean, depends on what you mean by that. I think it keeps expanding as it goes on into kind of like how Shida Daida explains at the end of, I think it's the first volume of Vampire Jujikai. He talks about how, I think he said something along the lines of like, you're zoomed in on like a picture, and then as the story continues, more and more of that picture zooms out of, and then you get more of an idea of what's really going on, and how you view it is a bit different.
Well, okay, what I mean to say is that when you have like volume 1 of Record of a Fallen Vampire, and it seems like the whole thing is going to be about the conflict between Akabara and the humans and the demi-vampires and him being hunted down. But then around chapter 3 or 4, he gets confronted by the next inheritor, or rather cursed being possessing the power of the Black Swan.
It was the 4th chapter, yeah.
And then just when it looks like he's gonna lose or have to go on the run or something again, the story just takes a sharp left turn and is like, okay, we're not about that. We're just gonna do this at the distant future, and then it goes from what you expect to be kind of an adventure-y shonen tragedy thing to just being this fictional historical mystery. Where it unravels this whole thing. And you give me the impression that something similar would happen in Spiral, but with the Blade children, and the pursuit of the protagonist Ayumu's brother. You know, just the genre shift.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just the first arc that's kind of like Detective Conan-ish, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I think if it's anything like the what I saw from the original anime that got made, then yeah, it was definitely pretty formulaic until like even when the Blade children were somewhat introduced. But I, from what I've heard, they were taking a completely different direction from how they are in the manga.
Actually, on that note, what is Spiral even anyway?
Spiral, it's a manga that was adapted.
Well, it's a curse that infects a small town in the middle of nowhere in Japan that grows increasingly bigger until it's revealed that it's part of some ancient curse that tries to consume the village.
We're not talking about Junji Ito, dude.
I almost thought you were gonna say something related to Higurashi, but okay.
Yeah, if you've seen the anime of Spiral,
No.
there's the arc with two of the members of the Blade children. I believe it's Kosuke and Ryo, and they give kind of Ayumu a bit of an ultimatum because there's the bomb that he has to detonate, right?
I remember that.
Yeah. So there's that arc, and that's I think like volume 6 of the manga? Volume 5? One of those volumes. I've only read the manga once, so my memory could be incorrect there. But, like, from what I recall, the, past that volume, right, that's about as much as the, anime adapts, and then it goes into a completely original arc. And so what occurs in the manga is very different, because then you get this whole, arc with the school, where there's, like, a hostage situation going on.
Okay, because the way you describe it, it sounds almost like if you have something like Demon Detective Nogami Neuro, if the whole pursuit of the Phantom Thief killer Sai, that just becomes the story after like volume 1 or just like after a few episodes of the anime, instead of doing the murder mystery and then later puzzle solving thing, if they just like draw the latter half of the anime and pull it way earlier.
These manga fans talking about interesting manga stuff I've never heard of. Reminds me I need to get to Paradise Kiss now that I have that.
Damn, I should get to that too.
You will not give this a rest, will you?
But to rein things in a little bit, let's talk about the general premise. Basically, Spiral is about, from what I remember, a young kid named Ayumu, whose older brother had recently passed.
He didn't pass. He didn't pass.
Oh, wait,
he moved away.
he went away.
Yeah, he's disappeared.
Yeah, he disappeared.
Yeah, to explain this to CBF, there's this kid called Ayumu who's, not exactly, because he's an older brother, and the younger brother's a genius detective, and he looked up to his older brother who's also a detective, and he disappeared, and before disappearing, the last thing he left was a note or something that said that he was going to pursue something called the Blade Children, but it's not really explained what that is. Fairly early on in the manga, we find out that the Blade Children, without many details, are just children that have been biologically augmented or experimented on somehow to have certain supernatural abilities, or at least, if I remember correctly, that's what's implied.
They also are missing a rib, if I recall.
Yes, they did. But in the anime, they weren't supernatural. They were just really smart.
I don't think I'd really describe anything in Spiral as intended to be, like, outright supernatural, as far as I understand it. It's all sci-fi with, like, a supernatural bent to it, I guess. I'd say the anime in that regard is a bit similar.
Oh, so is it like a little more monsterish?
Wait, what?
Is it a bit more monsterish than, like with Johann Liebert, where his abilities are described as natural, taken to their logical extreme to where it borders on the supernatural?
I think Johann is a pretty good comparison, actually. Because some of the crazy stuff that Johann's able to do. In regards to that, though, I'd say, like, Ayumu's big conflict in the story is regards to his own confidence in his own abilities, right? You see that when he goes to Eyes Rutherford's show, I believe, and then there's the bomb in the box that he needs to figure out how to stop after everybody's evacuated, and how he was able to figure that out. And how, in spite of that, it feels like, there's this general motif in all of, Shiro Daido's works that I've read, of this idea of this greater hand of fate guiding them. And so he gets the sense that his brother is kind of the one holding the marionettes, and that he's on the strings. And, he's just basically falling into every single move that his brother thinks that he'll make.
The way you put it, that makes sense to me, because that reminds me of Akabara in Record of a Fallen Vampire, where he doesn't necessarily intend on people getting the interpretations of history that they do, but he does things in such a way where he lets them believe whatever interpretation is convenient for him, which is the one where people will be driven to resent him, or at least not like him. So you always kind of get that slant in regard to what he chooses to talk about and what he chooses not to, the disclosure of information.
Yeah, but with Ayumu, it's sort of a little bit different and, obviously smaller. Not just in terms of the scale, because obviously, right?
Yeah.
But also in the fact that it, like, has a sort of, like, self-loathing twinge to it. Like, if, in a way, to me, from what I remember about Ayumu's general attitude and demeanor as a character, it's sort of like a weird mix, the best sort of mix I can describe it, I suppose, is if Hotaru Oraki was given the general demeanor of, like, Yo Asakura, but, and take off most of the well-meaning stuff.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting comparison to make. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I'd say it's definitely cut from the same, like, era as something like Shaman King.
Yeah, around that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, isn't it just like very 2000s?
Yeah,
Very.
Especially the hair.
Oh my god. Absolutely. I was about to say, dude.
Oh yeah, definitely the hair.
I mean, technically the original manga was starting in 1999, but still.
Yeah, it feels weird that you'd compare that to Oreki Hotoro though, because he doesn't solve actual murders. He just...
I mean, yes, but I compared him to him in the sense of course he is obviously gifted in his own ways, but he has a hard time seeing his own self-worth. It's just that with Ayumu, that is much more directly tied to his brother, who he often describes as being like, oh, the guy with like the superior genes and not strictly genes, but just the better person in general.
The man with a plan.
Yeah, the man with a plan.
Does he also have superior shirts too?
Oh, it's interesting you bring up genes, because genetics actually is quite important later on in the manga. But essentially what you need to know is, within the sense of the story, essentially everything that Ayumu interacts with in some regard is connected to his brother. Especially by the end of the manga, and you'll see, like, one of the interesting things, right, is Hyono and Ayumu's dynamic, where Hyono, I believe she runs the newspaper club.
Yeah, she did.
Wait, are you telling me that Ayumu meeting her wasn't also dumb luck?
That has to do with his brother, yes.
Okay, see, I dig that because the way it's like, this newspaper girl, I'm going to come and talk to you and hang out with you all the time, because you may help me get the big scoop, and you may be the interesting one. It all seems very convenient. It feels like, because we're mid-2000s shonen, that the unusually talented in specific way social competent girl has to be drawn towards the kind of oddball guy in something, or vice versa. It feels very because the plot demands it.
Yeah, I felt very mixed on her when I was watching the anime originally. With this explanation, especially with what I saw in the wiki about the manga, it makes a lot more sense how, like, all in she is on this. Because...
Well, not to mention the extent of her abilities, because it's not like she's very nosy.
Yes.
She's hounding the amount of information she's able to gather.
I'm pretty sure I remember she accessed, like, international level, like, fucking information, dude. Like...
That's a level of journalism that far surpasses my own abilities. God damn. Also, yeah, I was a journalist for a few weeks. I mean, a few months.
I won't say anything about whether or not she's a Blade child. However, I will say to the extent that she is connected to Ayumu's brother. There's also a prequel manga, Spiral Alive, but that doesn't focus really on Ayumu. It focuses mostly on Kosuke and other characters. Eyes Rutherford, I believe, is also in it. It's a number of the Blade children characters, you'll see.
Okay, because the way you describe it, it's interesting to try and see the story from a different perspective. Would you recommend it then to me, knowing my love of Record of a Fallen Vampire? Because I think I've told you before, I really, really love this thing.
I mean, I think pretty much all of his stories are worth a look if you like even one of them. Because Zetsu and No Tempest is also very much like that.
Yeah, yeah, he made Blast of Tempest too, which I still haven't seen before.
That I'd say has more in common with Vampire Jujikai than Spiral does, I'd say. Because, like, Spiral is very, to me it's, like, very just, like, Detective Conan-y, and, like, a lot of early 2000s stuff in it. I'd say that...
Especially the anime.
Yeah, I'd say, like, Vampire, Jujikai, Zetsu, and No Tempest. Those kinds of stories, they're a lot more theatrical, I'd say, in presentation.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, Detective Conan especially show, when you get, like, the whole, like, watch dot thing. And also, just, Conan has this very... I don't mean to, like, throw shade on Spiral, but Detective Conan has this very distinguished aura about it. I think it's just kind of the kind of stories Gosho Ayama tells, the kind of characters he uses and his set pieces, and just the way he writes stories. Like, you can tell he's into, I don't know if he's into Agatha Christie specifically, but just this older breed of mystery stories, like the way he writes, for example, locked room things, and again, especially his set pieces and environments. dialogue, the names.
Yeah, poor that. CF was gonna ask me something earlier. What was it?
Yeah, I have two things in mind, but first off, what were you gonna ask Kaiser about me before?
Yeah, I think I asked you if you had seen Shaman King before, because I was making the Yo comparison.
No, I have not seen it.
Okay.
Wow, CBF, I'm embarrassed. You really should look around you. Look beyond.
We're gonna
Make an
make a
unbreakable bond.
The world around you
damn it,
is not what
Lone.
it seems. So reveal beyond your wildest dream.
So many things I never could see. So many choices falling on me. Could it be my destiny to make a callback to episode
We're
4?
gonna reference 4Kids.
I love 4Kids.
We could at least do the legendary One Piece rap.
Yeah, yo,
Dreamin'.
gotta go. His name is Luffy.
Don't give it up,
Or the
Sora.
4Kids one.
Oh my god.
So you wanna be a master of Pokemon? Have you got the skills to be number 1?
We all live.
I wanna take the ultimate test, find the courage to be bold, to risk it all and not forget the lessons that I'm told. I wanna go and somebody interrupt me, please.
Anyway, the other question I have is this. Haven't you been noticed? Ever since Roger came in, we've been talking about shows with very specific, like, older characters that are very, like, mastermindy, talking about setting up all these situations and worldviews that are specifically meant to have in a particular way.
I'm picking up on what you're laying down, CBF. It's time to talk about Durarara.
I have not seen Durarara.
Na na na, stepping out tonight. Da, ba, 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 ba,
speaking
ba,
of bone
was.
shows-
Most of the openings.
Oh, yeah, okay. All of them are fire, except maybe the second opening complicated, and actually even complicated.
You have a bit of a complicated relationship with that tune.
I see what you did there. It's my least favorite. I find it very forgettable, but I like the.
I don't know if I like that one. I mean, why are they reading light novels in the bathroom? Like, if you have any respect for like the things you own, you would not want them next to like toilet paper.
Hey, they don't have self-respect anyway. One of them goes near a fucking Miyuki van.
Shut the fuck up, CBF. Shut the fuck up, CBF. You haven't seen Durarara.
No, but I have seen Irregular Magic High School, and that's one of the worst things I've ever seen, but we'll not get into that now. Also, how dare they show her van? Fuck that character.
Oh god.
Also, I will say that one of my favorite openings from Durarara is actually, I forget the name, but it's the 4th one. It's everybody's least favorite one, but it's one of my
The only one I
favorite
like is the
remember
ones.
Flow
that
one, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I love the flow one. That one was, oh my god.
Everybody loves the flow one.
Yeah. See, when people bring up the flow one and they bring up stepping out, I always think they're bringing up Hanayori Dango.
What? Which one's that? What?
Because the opening of Hanayori Dango starts out with stepping out. You know that?
I've never heard of this until now. But anyway,
I do not.
Me neither.
speaking of bone shows, there were a few that I think were interesting to talk about, because I heard you have a reputation for bones. But I think I might as well just settle with Mob Psycho 100 for now.
You sure you don't want to talk about Razafon for the 15th time?
No.
Or Bungo Stray
Oh,
Dogs.
that one I have not seen.
Bungo we could probably talk about at some point, but we are never touching Razafon again.
Not until Lonecrit's seen it.
Wait, Kaiser, you've seen Bungo Stray Dogs?
Not yet. I watched the first 2 episodes, but that's another subject.
The
for
movie
another
is
time.
really cool. I like the movie. Bungo
I
Stray
haven't
Dogs.
seen any of these.
Oh, actually, I haven't seen Dead Apple yet. I wasn't so keen on season 3, but I really liked seasons 1 and 2.
That's interesting, because season 3 ties into Dead Apple.
Oh yeah, I know, with Fyodor Dostoevsky, I know.
Though, admittedly, I think, like, the themes of that, if you're going to watch it, I don't think it feels very much like the show's themes. To me, it feels more like the anime staff who made it, I'd say.
Okay, wait, I thought you were gonna bring up for a second Dostoevsky's power, where they hint at what it might be through its interplay with the villain's power in the movie, and then in season 3 they reveal what it actually is.
Yeah, I think that's probably why some people were so confused with the movie, quite frankly.
Okay. By the way, not gonna say what the power is, but it's one of the most chilling powers in anime, just as an idea.
Anyway, keep up all this Bungo talk, and I'm just gonna skip straight to Hisone no Masaton.
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about Moob Sicko and how the ED for that every frame is actually a painting, because they painted on glass.
This is art.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that you're going to Boone get the fuck out.
I'm gonna boom go kick your ass. That's what I'm gonna do after this is all over.
Yeah, we keep interrupting him.
Let's Boone go, motherfucker!
But anyway,
Yeah.
Mob Psycho 100, that's an interesting one. I remember I liked season 1 more than season 2, but either way, the show is generally just very fun.
A lot of fun, CBF.
Weirdly enough, every time I think about it, I think about what Fairy Tail should have been, where it's just like, instead of being a shonen action show with some comedy and especially slice of life, we just make it, at least the first half of each of these, be a slice of life with shonen elements that get progressively more into the forefront in the second half of each season.
If we make it out of this alive, Kaiser, I want us to present CBF with an award for the only person capable of actually comparing Mob Psycho 100 with Fairy
In
Tail.
any conceivable facet.
Yeah, see, I'm a bit of an obnoxious stickler when it comes to the term slice of life, because I think all series are slices of life.
Well, that may be fair if you think about it on a certain level.
Yeah, like they're all slices of the characters' lives,
Yes,
right?
from a certain point of view.
Is it the same level that a Rick and Morty viewer has to think on?
I mean, I don't know if I'm quite as intelligent as someone who watches, like, Rick and Morty, like, every day or something, but, like...
Like me.
Roger only plays chess. Rick and Morty fans play Chinese checkers, just like Lelouch does.
Oh, I thought they played AMQ.
That is very big brain.
Well, I mean, I do that too, and unfortunately I'm not as intelligent as them, so...
Podcast with one of the most ultimate AMQ players ever, coming soon.
Yeah, because it's definitely not me. I'm not very good at AMQ anymore.
Shut up, Roger, you completely 3-0'd me.
Well, that is true. I did do that, but, like, generally, I'd say I'm very rusty. I haven't played that in a while.
Fair, but yeah, Mob Psycho 100, again, one of the most visually, both seasons, some of the most visually cool shows of the past 5 years.
Ever.
Yeah, it feels like those kinda... I'm not sure if it would be right to say that they raised a bar for action animation in modern anime, but they...
They raised the bar for endings.
Yes.
Well, they also... The OPs, but anyway.
Fuck you, dude! The first ending, like, visually is beautiful, where they do the whole black and white thing on glass.
Oh yeah, visually is great. I thought you actually meant, like, the end of the shows, and I was about to... But anyway. But yeah, visually the endings are great.
Yeah, the ending is paramount. That's what...
Oh my god.
The ending is paramount.
Yeah, wait, when are you guys getting Arcada on here? So we can talk about endings.
Has he even... I don't think he's heard of us. We're not that high up in the food chain yet.
Okay, if Arcada would like to come on here, he's perfectly welcome, but to be honest, I don't even want to talk about anime with him. I just want to nerd out over Doctor Who.
Of fucking
Of course
course
you'd
he
want to
would.
nerd out over Doctor Who with him.
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk to him about living in Canada.
No, I want to talk about how the ending of Season 4 is paramount.
You know, I think he'd have a lot to say about that.
I have a lot to say about that.
But yeah, but Mob Psycho 100...
I mean, Mob Psycho 100, right? They were very much competing, you know, with Saitama and pals, and it's very interesting. I don't know if you heard about this, and I thought it was very funny, so I'm gonna bring it up.
I did. It was fun. Go ahead.
Oh, wait, you already know what I'm gonna talk about?
I heard about it at one point from a video, I think what Fiber Campus.
Dang, man, you're too good. Alright, so there was the producer, I think the producer's name was Hosoya, and he was the insane guy who did the Kimono Friends production, and then he kicked Totsuki off and everything. So he was doing the production for One Punch Man 2, the JC Staff season, and Yusuke Murata comes in at this meeting, and the whole time Hosoya's like trash talking Mob Psycho, and he didn't realize that one wrote both stories.
Right? Oh my god.
And then he ended up getting fired over it.
Hosoya's such a fucking tool just based on this alone. Like,
Jesus
that,
Christ.
and the fact that he's responsible for One Punch Man Season 2 being the dumpster fire.
Yeah, and Kimono Friends too, because he made the freaking alternate Twitter account and started like insulting people who were like tweeting negative things about Kimono Friends too?
Oh my god, he freaking turned to a troll. Oh my god.
That guy's insane, dude. He's done like a number of crazy things. Because from what I understand, he got into the industry because his dad was like a big shot, but he himself doesn't.
Oh, he's an industry plant.
I mean, I guess you could call him that, yeah.
Damn.
The plants need water.
Look, if Hayao Miyazaki and Mamoru Oshii have taught us anything, is that when you're an anime director, you can say whatever you like.
That's why they shit on each other all the time. That and Hideaki Anno.
Yes.
And Yokiyuki Tomino. Just constantly trolling each other over the interviews across 40 years.
No, more like that time when Miyazaki was like, yeah, whatever, when Osamu Tezuka died.
Oh, well, no. When
oh,
Osamu Tezuka died, he was, like, criticizing Tezuka's entire body of work.
God.
Yeah, didn't you watch the Princess Mononoke video from Bennett the Sage?
No, I read Miyazaki's entire obituary to Tezuka, and it's just him trashing on Tezuka.
Okay, Roger, please tell us more about what he said. Didn't he say that the entire body of his work was like, meh, whatever?
He was basically giving his review on a bunch of things Tezuka made, and a lot of it was pretty critical.
Then again, this is the same man who walked out of his son's movie halfway through after the main
And called him a
son
boy.
killed-
Yeah, and then he was like halfway through, and then he goes out to the lobby to smoke, and then he's like, that felt like 3 hours.
He's like, my son, he's not quite ready yet. It's still too immature, too raw in his emotional presentation. And then he goes back to finish the movie anyway, and he's like, it's good for a first movie.
Yeah.
But if my son is serious about this, he will take that as a challenge and an insult.
Yeah, but that's the difference between someone like Miyazaki and someone like Hosoya. Like, when you're a director, I think you can get away with saying crazier stuff.
And your
I'd
penis is
say
massive
that.
enough.
Like, when you're a producer, though, you have to be able to get along with different companies. Yeah, you're probably going to end up crossing paths with them. And I think Miyazaki's a good example, right? Because when Miyazaki was starting trouble with the CG people, it was producer Toshio Suzuki who came in, and he tried to, cool things down between the two parties. And, bring it back down.
Didn't know about that.
Because Miyazaki was saying, this is an insult to life itself.
Oh yeah, that one.
Oh my
I
I remember that video. Oh my god.
Okay. So
That's the most
that
boomer
was
thing imaginable.
You know what? Okay, that was obviously a horrible thing to say, and just because you're an artiste, it doesn't mean you can say whatever the fuck you like. And that was, again, really, really bad to say. Like, he destroyed this man's feelings completely unnecessarily. But
Jinx.
On the
on the other hand, you saw the models. The idea to suggest that being in a Miyazaki movie, it's...
No.
Like, you can kind of see Miyazaki's point.
Miyazaki did nothing wrong.
Well, for context on what that was the guy pitching that was the president of, the former president, because he stepped down, of Kadokawa Dwango. And what had happened was, he was on the production, I believe he was producer for the previous Miyazaki documentary, The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness. And then he was in that NHK documentary, which is what that clip's from. And he generally seems to me to be a very clueless guy, because he was also involved on the Kimono Friend situation, but he said he had no idea what happened, and, who decided to do the firing. And I'm like, you're the head of Kadokawa Dwango, you should probably know what's going on, at your production plate. So he seems like just like a very oblivious guy who probably put 2 and 2 together and was like, oh, this is animation. Miyazaki does animation. Oh, this is CG, right? Miyazaki wanted to do CG.
Yeah, it's like comparing a freaking comic book writer to like a freaking movie writer. So it's like, oh yeah, let me bring a page to comic book to this dude.
Miyazaki did want to do CG. Goro Miyazaki.
He should have just brought this to Goro.
He got the wrong guy.
No. For the sake of...
Also, that shit looked like it should be in, like, Silent Hill or something.
No, for the sake of context, too, the NHK documentary that was attached to, that was for Miyazaki's production of Boro the Caterpillar, which is the 3D CG short that he made, because he ended up trying out CG to make that short, but you can't actually view it, sadly, because they exclusively broadcast it in the Ghibli Museum, so you have to fly to Japan to actually see the fruits of that. But the documentary, the CG was definitely tied to Miyazaki's project there, because that was what he was working on.
Hey, wouldn't it be really funny when we finally upload this, we just have it like it's, spiral, and then just picture of Miyazaki from that screenshot from Milky Homes. And then just whatever else.
No, we use the one from the one with the If Studios Were Real that Giguk did. You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, maybe. Or maybe Kentucky Fried Colonel Miyazaki.
Kentucky Fried.
But speaking of Giguk, he can probably, since he's in Japan right now, he can probably go see that Calipers short if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Giguk Newtypes podcast when I want to talk about British shit. I want to endlessly reference Chucklevision.
And I want to tell you how wrong you are about mecha anime.
And talk about Black Adam.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? This may sound a bit insensitive to say, but, someone had told me that, the Ghibli Museum, the pandemic's going on, I hope the Ghibli Museum's okay. The Ghibli Museum might close down, and I was like, oh, well, if it closes down, do I finally get to watch that Boru short?
Oh my god. Yeah, they just have like a sale, and you can get in there for like 2 yen.
Oh, by the way, okay, Kaiser, here's something absolutely insane. Recently, I encountered an individual who knew somebody whose, parent operated a website that sold old anime cells, and they actually had one of Cashin Sins, a storyboard. So,
What?
Frame.
Seriously?
They also had some from Mononoke.
Okay. That's actually interesting.
Yeah, I knew that'd blow your mind.
It's been so long since I've seen Cash and Sins.
Oh, what? It was a legit one?
Yes. If one day I could get a storyboard for, Cashin Sins, that is it.
And speaking of, I have the autograph from his Japanese voice the voice actor for Cashin and Cashin Sins, Toru Furuya, who is also voice actor for Amuro Ray in all of Gundam and Yamcha in everything, and the original Tuxedo Mask.
By the way, Kaiser, here's something you're gonna love. I was actually having a conversation with Shabes a few weeks ago, and he was telling me how in Detective Conan there are, 2 characters who are rivals or enemies or something, and one's called Ray something, and he's voiced by Toru Furuya, and the other is called something Akai, and he's voiced by Char Azanoble's voice actor.
Yeah, you're thinking of Amuro, actually. It's Amuro from Conan, yes.
Are you fucking... Oh yeah, there was a character
His name
named
is actually Amuro.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
he is
God.
Amuro.
Anyway, after this monumental series of tangents, let's get back to talking about Mob Psycho 100, but the actual show this time and not just the visuals.
Oh.
Yes, because I'm of the opposite opinion of you, CBF. I think I really love the second season a lot more than the first, especially because every time I see the end of episode 1 with that whole situation with Mob picking up the pieces of that girl who did him wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It always it's one of the very few scenes in anime in general that consistently makes me tear up.
And, not gonna lie, see, episodes 1...
You can cry?
I know, it bends the laws of physics.
He must have been talking about when he was still a human.
True, yes.
But anyway...
I did not know Kaiser had the ability to cry.
Yeah, you're talking about from the first episode of the second season, right? When the papers go flying at the end, right?
Yeah, that story was actually pretty great.
That was amazing.
Mom, you have a girlfriend now. Oh, she was kind of just stringing him along because of a dare and stuff, and she actually just wants to be a writer and everything, and then all that stuff happens. That episode and the Reagan plot in season 2. The whole thing where you already know, I assume you remember about with Reagan, because he's
that's
this
great.
con man who
was the
Okay,
best.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I have read the manga up
too.
until nearly the end of the Boss of Claw fight, so yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's great, and I'm very impressed that One took the character to such an emotionally challenging place.
Yeah, like he was already a fun character in and of himself. The fact that we had a balance between him being this absolute con man who is paying Mob the shittiest wages of all time, but also the fact that he genuinely does impart genuine life lessons onto Mob, like about how the gifts you are, they don't make you special. It's what you do with them that matters, that determines who you are as a person.
With
and
great
stuff
power
like that.
comes great responsibility.
Yeah, all that Uncle Ben shit like that.
And in season 2, that gets embellished to, except if those powers are used to make me money, then they are important.
He kind of touches on that a little bit too much, and then Mob's just like, you know what, I'm not liking this. And then everything comes crashing down for Reagan. He gets held accountable for a bunch of shit. He basically gets canceled on live television too.
In 4K! He got caught in 4K!
Yeah, but then Mob just like, you know what? He's like, oh, I assume you know everything about me now. I was like, yeah, I knew about you the whole time. And it's in a far more optimistic light, because if nothing else, Reagan was still a positive influence onto Mob, whether or not he was lying.
Yeah, but he was also being a manipulative asshole in season 2.
Irregardless of that, and the fact that Mob ultimately knew he was a fake, he still believed in Reagan just as a person because of what he taught him. And that was enough to bring Reagan to tears and just like mend everything.
That was a great moment.
They take it to a greater logical extreme in season 2 by simply making the character desperate and having Mob start to elude his dependence on Reagan. It's like you can be as good as you want, you can be as great as you want, as long as you're still under my thumb. Like, that is kind of of season 1, and the season 2 just brought that to life. And again, I thought that was very challenging and impressive.
Like, those were the great stories in season 2. The problem is I'm not so keen on most of the rest of the stuff. Visually speaking, it's good, but I do think it suffers from an issue that, like, let's face it, Mob Psycho is blunt. It is not subtle by any means, but in season 1, it never felt like they were hammering it in so far over the head to the point where they were just beating you down with the messages.
So what you're probably gonna mention the freaking dream sequence episode where we get into like inside Mob's head in season 2.
That has different issues. I think it's more of like the time lapse issue in there was a bit too strong, and the fact that it felt like a bit too extreme considering Mob's character, and the fact that even after like 6 months he's only like mildly a little depressed and stuff. But even then, visually that had one of the coolest fights there. The fights in Mob Psycho are just amazing, like season 1 episode 8.
Oh yeah, especially with like in season 2 with everybody way less powerful than Mob fighting. I think it was like...
See, I actually haven't seen season 2 yet, so all I can think of is season 1. Like Mob versus Oyama, I think that's his name, where he just like smashes Mob in the alleyway. That's one of the most gorgeous things I've seen in any anime, like combined with the music.
Yeah, just like the sheer impact of those slinging slugs, and then when Mob just goes berserk for the first time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, in regards to season 2, I'd like to rewatch it at some point. Because I'm not sure whether I think it's a step down from season 1, or if I like it about as much. Because I think in some regards, if I recall correctly, some of my issue with season 2, I felt like the last arc was a tad over stuff.
Yeah, like the last arc I feel is where it kind of dropped the ball a bit. Sure, there were some really cool fights, like everyone against that one, what was his name, the slanted eyes guy? Who could manipulate like space and everything.
Yeah, that fight was insane.
And how he got into like first-person perspective at some points. But then we have other issues like the final boss of the Claw arc, who I thought was kinda whatever. I also think that this is when they start getting a little too preachy. Yeah, like I know it's about self-improvement and whatnot, and that's good, but it kind of overplays it.
Oh, CBF, I know exactly what you're gonna say. See, the moment where I felt that in the manga, it's where like the spirit possesses the chief or chairman, whatever, of the bodybuilding club, and he beats the other guy with the like psychically made muscles, and he's like, real effort beats talent or psychic abilities or whatever every time.
Oh wait, hard work beats talent.
All that Rock Lee shit, you know?
Yeah, but they do it in such a way where just reality adheres or rather succumbs to the themes, even though there's absolutely no work. Like, yeah, hard, like what? Like actually, ghost possessing thing beats the guy who's like, yeah, sure, hard work beats supernatural. Okay,
And
whatever,
then
bro.
also when he was facing Mob was facing the umbrella guy, I also think that was getting way too much into the whole, oh, Mob is basically Jesus now, he knows all the answers, and this guy, he just imparts all the lessons to him while beating him down and just saying everything. That's when I think it got too preachy, and then I just checked out by the time he and the claw guy were fighting, to the point where I was actually kind of really annoyed when they tried to make him redeem himself in front of his family, like declare that, and just have him be on the hook after he got beaten up. It's like, oh, come, it's like, fuck off, show. Fuck off.
Actually, CBF, I liked that. I liked that where Mob is fighting the boss of Claw, and they get to this point where they have such a power dynamic going with their psychic powers that it's almost like, because somebody's able to stand on the same level as him for the first point in his life in this regard, that you get the barrier, the wall of the power stripped back, and you don't have an adult and a child anymore, you just have like a person and another person, and you get a very pure kind of character interplay or connection there.
And to add to that a little bit, I feel that it kind of adds to the general, I suppose, to that thematic journey, especially for Mob in Season 2. Because a lot of Season 2 compared to Season 1 isn't just focused on, like, I mean, overall it is always about him improving as a person and understanding his own worth. But it also, with Season 2, I think it focused a lot on, like, his ability to empathize with other people and sort of understanding how much of that he can, like, impart on another person and how that would influence them.
To add on to that, in that regard, exactly, just like the power of empathy is used as such a great equalizer in this fight. Where it's, again, it's not adult and child, it's person and person.
Yeah, it's like, I get all that, I just think that Season 1 kind of did a little bit better, like, whenever Reagan was beating up basically everyone from the original Claw unit that would later defect.
Oh, that was epic.
That was great.
And kind of just, like, beats them and shows that, you know, with all your powers, you basically just become petulant. While Mob he doesn't rely on his powers to basically make himself egotistical. His powers do not have anything to do with his ego or his, like, personality. They don't define him. Like, they allowed those powers to define them.
Yeah, he's making an active effort to be a worthwhile human being, having a good life in general.
That in itself is also a really interesting idea, because yeah, if you have the power to do anything you want, then why grow as a person in order to overcome external circumstances when there's nothing you need to overcome?
Yeah, and then in Season 1, it felt, like, I like Season 1 in the fact that it felt like Mob was actually, like, growing. I know Season 2 was supposed to be more of the payoff season after a while. We're just like, oh yeah, he's, like, grown, he's, like, finally accomplished, he's learned these lessons, and now it's on time for him to impart that to other people. I just feel that some of the execution could have been a little bit better, which is why I did like some of the more slice of life stories, like with him dealing with the girl who quote-unquote wanted to be his girlfriend, or with Tsubame, who eventually was starting to catch on to Reagan's shtick and was also trying to be like, oh, there's this guy I like, alluding to Mob himself. Well, just to try to, like, trip Reagan up and expose him, which other people do later on anyway.
In a way, I feel that the arc after the end of Season 2, where the manga kind of picks up, just more than makes up for, which I'm not going to spoil, of course.
Because I have not read that.
I haven't read to that bit yet, but I would love to buy the Mob Psycho 100 manga one day, just because I find Juan's art in that to be really, really gorgeous once you get used to it.
Yeah, I'd say his art has its own charm to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I find a lot of truth in what Super Eyepatch Wolf actually said in his video relating to the subject on, like, basically just if you do something with enough passion and enough balls, that in itself becomes, like, craft and style.
Was that the video where he talks about Space Jam too?
Beast.
Wait, he made a video about that?
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, he did like some crazy conspiracy theory Space Jam 2 video.
It must be a shocker plot.
No, Eyepatch Wolf's videos have been insane, dude.
Speaking of, like, conspiracy theories and manipulation and all that kind of stuff, I think I'm gonna have to ask a few more questions here. Are you the reason why I can't actually open my ears like I could with the other model of Haro? Are you the reason that Aki's Dynazenon ride broke that when she was testing and she landed on this ship?
Are you the reason I've been constipated recently?
Okay, that's a different issue, but are you the reason why we haven't been able to use any of the backup mechs or get the teleporter working again?
I think you're gonna need to ask whoever did the 3D model for the robot.
Were you the one who did the 3D model for the robots?
Can't say I did. I only spent like 3 weeks doing 3D modeling.
Were you the reason we're not getting a No Game No Life Season 2?
I'm sorry to say this, I don't work for Madhouse.
Are you the reason why the art style for The Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2 doesn't look as good as for Season 1?
Alright, now you're accusing me of working for Kadokawa. I don't know if I appreciate that.
Are you the reason I'm unable to show off my Kamen Rider form to our lovely 82 viewers?
I think YouTube's the reason, because you don't want to get your account deleted for breaking community guidelines.
Are you the one who is responsible for everything that has happened to us up until now, predicting everything we'd ever do? Are you like Aizen from Bleach, good sir?
Are you the Spanish
I
Inquisition?
can't say I have any Spanish blood within me, actually.
Are you or are you not the great leader of Shocker in YouTuber form?
I mean, some could argue I'm not even a YouTuber at this point.
Fair enough, but are you— Oh shit! Oh shit. You guys feel that? Was that me? Did the ship just like rumble?
Oh my god! It's the Pink Russian!
Oh no.
Aw, damn it! We just got over this crap!
Not again!
Damn it.
Not again! Wait, guys, there are no more ships left. The Arcadia was the last one.
Oh my
No,
wait,
I'm not
wait a
ready.
second,
I'm not ready.
guys.
I'm not ready.
Is that the RX-78?
Yeah.
It's the RX-78.
Alright,
That shit-
I'll come with the clutch, let's
Come
go!
on, let's go!
Yeah!
Do it. Yeah, finally.
Slice
Let go.
that
I
shit.
want to live.
Blow it up!
Yeah!
We did it, guys! The day has been saved!
Finally.
The Pink Russian. It is no longer hard.
It is gone flaccid.
Also, hey, Roger. Catch. Duck.
Oh, cool. What is this?
That's right. Also, Longprint, you're fire scared. Take this. Let's get out of here, boys.
Gotcha!
Ah, shit, that worked? I didn't expect throwing things at him to teleport us here. Also, yeah, fuck your mug and your Fizz gear.
Well, didn't you know that when you combine coffee and Fizz gear, you get an explosion of indeterminate proportions?
Also tea. There was tea in my cup this time.
So now, Roger is stranded in space.
Allegedly.
Factually.
Oh, hey, what about Aki? She'll probably be fine.
Hello? Felt rubble. Ugh. Now I'm up. Were those teleporter noises? Anyone there?
I don't know. Ooh, a new Hado model just showed up. See you guys, I'm blowing myself up. Bye!
Oh my god, a manga cafe! Also, yeah, CBF, goodbye. Rest in peace. Manga cafe!
Finally, we can actually get some proper sweets in there.
Wait a sec. This isn't just any manga cafe. It's our manga cafe!
Oh shit, you're right. Oh my god, my sense of time must have been so bad since it's been so long.
Well, guys, you know what we have to do now.
And that is...
See you next time on the Newtypes podcast.
Hashtag change the channel.